At what point does an idea become a phenomenon? The Harry Potter books have caught the attention of an amazing array of people throughout the globe and have sold more than 400 million copies, translated into around 70 languages. What causes people to become so utterly enthralled in this story? The characters? The plot? Or is it just magic? The single idea is all it took to transform the life of Joanne Rowling. Rowling grew up in Wiltshire, England. From an early age, she knew she loved to write. After finishing secondary school, she attended Exeter University studying 3 different languages, which included French, German, and Greek. She graduated in 1986. Her mother and father attended the graduation ceremony, her mother in a wheelchair, pained with the disease multiple sclerosis. Jo Rowling, better known as her pen name J.K. Rowling, said the idea of Harry Potter just came to her on a delayed train from Manchester to London. Fortunately for us, she developed the idea rather than contained it in her own imagination. Shortly after this idea was cast, her mother's long battle with multiple sclerosis finally ended and she passed. This shoved Jo into a pit of depression. She quotes, "I was writing Harry Potter at the moment my mother died. I had never told her about Harry Potter." She later admits that her mother's passing immensely impacted her writing in the novels, and that there was a central theme of death in all the books. She moved to Portugal to escape the emptiness she felt in England, and took a job teaching English as a second language. While there, she married a journalist named Jorge Arantes. This marriage was short-lived, but she did give birth to her daughter, Jessica, before the divorce. The marriage ended unofficially in violent turmoil in 1993. She left without looking back and moved in with her sister and brother-in-law in Edinburgh, Scotland. With the help of government aid, Jo was able to move into a small flat with her daughter. The process of getting government aid was anything but pleasant for Jo. She was a proud woman who felt she should be providing for herself and Jessica on her own, but she would rather not burden her family or friends whom she denied loans from. Jo lived on approximately $105 a week. Her living situations unfortunately took a toll on her and sent her into a deep depression in the early months of 1994, in which she sought counseling. Around this time, Rowling says she saw herself as the biggest failure I knew. By summer of that year, though, things took a more positive turn. She filed divorce from Jorge Arantes. Her brother-in-law bought a cafe, so she would spend most days in there. She would order a few cups of coffee and stay in there for hours on end writing, sitting in a secluded corner with baby Jessica by her side, not knowing what a precious work of art she was creating for the whole world to enjoy. She managed to finish her first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, by summer of 1995, typed up on an old typewriter, even as her plate was completely full with her daughter and her inabilities to properly provide for her. As she worked on getting certified to be a teacher in Scotland, other ideas were forming. In late 1995, Rowling decided it was time to try to get her manuscript published. She sent it to a few different agents and publishers, but was rejected. She searched again, coming across an agent named Christopher Little, and decided that she liked his name, so she would give him a go. At first, the manuscript, composed of a synopsis and the first 3 chapters of the book, was immediately dropped into the rejection pile because it was considered a children's novel. After further inspection, though, interest was sparked, and it was decided that they would request the final manuscript. Christopher Little himself read the final manuscript and was pleased. He then sent it to a number of different agencies. Bloomsbury Publishing Agency bid €1,500, around $2,200 to publish Jo's book. The offer was gladly taken, and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was set to publish 100,000 copies in Britain by 1997. She was asked to use initials to attract more male readers. She chose K in honor of her late grandmother Kathleen, thus creating J.K. Rowling. 3 days after its release in Britain, the United States wanted a slice of the action. Scholastic Books offered a record-breaking $105,000 for an unknown author's work and was given the U.S. rights. In 1998, it was published with the changed name, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The craze for Harry Potter really took off from there. Rowling gained loyal fans, and many of them. The movie rights were given to Warner Brothers for a 7-figure amount. She published book after book, becoming one of the richest women alive. The first 3 installments of the series soared up to the New York Times bestseller list by 2000. In 2007, she finished the Harry Potter book series, but Harry still lived on. The movies had brought in around $2.4 billion. Universal Studios recreated the world of Harry Potter, and the fans still have an unbreakable bond with the stories years later. It has become the #1 selling book series of all time. But what would a modern success story be without a little controversy? The Potter books have undergone religious attacks, claiming the books encourage witchcraft and dark magic, which are considered satanic. Certain groups of religious people have tried again and again to get the books banned from schools, but this has never been accomplished, as millions of people still read the books and watch the movies, making Rowling incredibly well known and wealthy. With her new fortune, she has made a point to contribute to a number of different charity organizations, including Comic Relief, One Parent Families, Multiple Sclerosis Society of Great Britain, and Lumos, a charity for underprivileged children she founded herself. In 2008, she gave the commencement speech for Harvard's graduating class, in which she quoted, "It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well have not lived at all, in which case you failed by default." Her story is a true rags to riches transformation. It started with a bit of adversity, combined with her unbridled determination, and maybe just a little magic. Rowling continues to write and is currently working on a new adult novel, The Casual Vacancy.